That's a difficult question for young people today because we're trying to be respectful of our parents. One of the Ten Commandments says, honor your mother and father. But what you have to realize is we do not honor people when we allow them to in any way abuse us, even violating our boundaries. You are growing up, you're an adult, you have the right to certain limits and to make decisions on your own. If you allow your mother to continue to do that without talking about it, what will happen is you'll grow resentful of her. It will impact your relationship, and that's one of the reasons it doesn't honor her, to simply tolerate that and to listen to it. What's important is to openly discuss this with your mother. Choose a time when you have time, when you're not going to be having to go off to some appointment in a few minutes, where you really can talk. And the key is to validate your concern, your love for your mother, to validate that her emotion and her motivation is because she cares about you, because she loves you. But on the other hand, at the same time, you do have to set limits. And before you can have that conversation, you have to understand what those limits are. What is okay for her to do, what is not okay. And it's important to think about that, write those down, and perhaps go over that with a valued or trusted person, including perhaps even a counselor, to make sure that you're not being too reticent in setting those limits and boundaries, because it's important to do that. And some parents will respond very well to that, and they'll respect that, and they'll realize, wow, my child's growing up, and other parents won't. If your parent has a tendency to live through you or to cling and isn't really okay with the separation process, then they may try to up the guilt. And they may say things or do things that try to get you to go back to where you were and allow them to violate your boundaries and your restrictions. And what you have to learn to do with that is the same thing people do with anxiety. Anxiety can be real. If I'm afraid of a snake, that's real. If I'm afraid of a picture of a snake, that's not real. And I react to real anxiety differently than I react to phobic anxiety. It's the same thing with guilt. If I do something wrong, that means I need to apologize and make amends. But if I've not done something wrong, what I need to learn to do is to tolerate that guilt. And if mom puts it on more and more, I need to allow myself to tolerate that guilt and not react to it. I may need to journal about it, I may need to talk to someone about it, I may need to deal with that guilt in a lot of different ways, but don't let it influence or control your behavior. Set those limits. In the long run, your relationship with your mother will be better for it.